I'm Anna with Always Right, and in today's Author 2 video, we're gonna be doing a quick little review of Libbie Hawker's Take Off Your Pants, Outline Your Books for Faster, Better Writing. So I actually have a reading vlog and like an outlining vlog with this book posted on Tuesday. So I'll have that link down in the description below. You can watch it after this video. So before we get into the book, I want to talk a little about the author because I personally like to know like the history, I like to know the education, I like to know the background of the people that are trying to educate me on something. And since Libbie here is trying to teach me how to outline, I wanted to see what her history was, why she has the authority to tell me how to outline or try to help me outline better. So Libbie Hawker is a very prolific, self-published historical fiction author. She on average posts about 2 to 4 books a year. Yes. In the book, she says that she has used this outlining method that she details in the book and that I so graciously highlighted on 20 different novels. So yeah, that got some mad respect points for me. In the beginning of this book, it kind of has like an introduction to her, like the power of confidence. And in that section, she explains, but she had the confidence in her outline to produce that first draft in 3 weeks. So let's go through the statistics for the book. This book is 156 pages long. It took me about 3-4 hours to read while taking notes, highlighting XYZ kind of stuff. I ended up taking a page of notes, like a page, like one of these pages of notes. The physical book, like this one that I have in my little handsies here, cost $8.99 with pre-prime shipping. It does have an ebook that's $2.99, which I think it'd be really interesting to get the ebook to see what people highlighted, see what people thought was like key, was really important. This book was originally published in 2015. The version that I have and the version that's available now was re-released in 2019. She kind of revised it, she added some bits at the end, and spoilers, this is self-published as well. Now onto the question to why did I get this and why did I decide to read it all of a sudden? Before Take Your Pants Off, the only outlining craft book I had ever read was Save the Cat Writes a Novel. Kind of got a slap in the face when Kate Kavanaugh's Unpopular Opinions video went live and people were bitching about Save the Cat Writes a Novel. So I decided to try to broaden my outlining knowledge, broaden my kind of plot structures. Also, my mother got this for me last year. I think it was like last March or something when I was starting to get back into writing. I kind of piddled with it a little because the title, Take Your Pants Off, it's implying, you know, that you are a pantser. You write by the seat of your pants. And that the way to get better at writing is to actually outline to write better books. And I think she was telling me something when she gave this to me. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, because when I first started writing, I was very much so a pantser, and I found it didn't really work for me. So what exactly is this book? This book is a craft book to help you get better at outlining and to teach you a new way to look at stories and at plot. I will admit, this book wasn't as helpful to me as it may be to you because, and Libbie says this like in the first few chapters, this book is really aimed at people that are intending to self-publish and to self-publish multiple books a year. That's why there's such a big emphasis on faster books. It's so you too can write 2 to 4 books every year and self-publish them. I personally am going to go like traditional publishing, so that's like 1 book a year, 2 books if I really like it or if I'm in like a good year, good spirits, whatever. One more little note, this book is aware that not everyone is going to be totally comfortable totally outlining their book. Yes, this does have beats similar to like Save the Cat. They are different beats that make up the plot, but with some of the other elements that we're gonna go over in a minute, it still makes for a very friendly kind of plantser writer. So let's talk about Libbie's outline process. One of the key elements for Libbie's outline process is the story core. And the story core is basically like 5 steps to narrow down your book. And those steps are: first, you have to get a character. Second, You have to have an external goal, a want for your character. Third, your character has to have something getting in the way of your character just getting their goal. So they have to have either like some obstacles, or they have to have antagonists. Gotta have something that creates conflict for your novel and conflict for your main character. Fourth is basically like the plot, aka like the struggle. So that's like the events that happen in the book as a result of your character having a want and having something in the way of the want. And the fifth step is an ending. Either your character succeeds at getting what they want, or they fail. But this ending is a result from all of the conflict in the fourth step, aka the plot, aka the story. Libbie references the story core quite frequently. He says that for every character you have that's like a main character or like a substantial character, you should have a story core. It's basically like a cheat sheet for your character having a story arc. And that leads into the three-legged outline that she believes in. She believes that there are three elements that make up an outline, three elements that will help you write your book. The first element is a character arc, aka your character starts at emotional point A and throughout the story goes to emotional point B. The second part of the outline is the theme. Theme is very important, and Libbie emphasizes that you have to have a theme and you have to know what it is going into the book, even if it's crap. And the third leg of the outline is pacing. You may have noticed that with the outline, there was something missing, and that was the plot. See, in the book, she emphasizes that the plot is tied closer to the story core. It's not necessarily tied closely to the three-legged outline. Her beats are actually very different beats than what you see in Save the Cat. Her plot beats focus much more on the character's flaw, less so on kind of like movie, like first act, second act, third act, and they don't work for every story. Going into the vlog I posted on Tuesday, I had two very different story ideas that I was going to play with and I was going to outline according to the books I was reading. And this outline process worked for one of them, but for the other like story idea, it didn't do anything. It wasn't helpful at all. It wouldn't have made a good book, is what I'm saying. Moving on. What did I like about the book / what did it do well? This book had one of the best explanations for character arc. I seriously wrote like a third of my page was just character arc notes. She does a great job of explaining character arc in this. For that, I'm really thankful. I'm really glad I read this. Another thing I really liked is that she did a different kind of plotting beat structure. It wasn't Save the Cat, which it very well could have been, because Save the Cat, like the screenplay version, was available at the time this was published, and the novel version was available when this was redistributed. And the third thing that I really liked and thought she did really well, she gave us examples of plotting using her own book. So she used her notes. It wasn't speculative in any sense. It was her exact notes that she used to outline her book and then write her book. And another thing she did well is the three-legged outline. I know that sounds really weird, especially because it's like, okay, well, it's character arc, theme, and pacing. How do those make sense? And they make sense because with the three-legged outline, what the goal is that you pull from either the theme or the character arc or the pacing, aka like the flaw, to plan your chapters. So your chapters have to be part of character development, plot, or theme. Now, what didn't I like and what did she not do so well? I said earlier that this is self-published, and yeah, it kind of reads like it in some places. Specifically typos. She misspelled something. No, really, something. She went S-O-E-M thing instead of S-O-M-E thing. And I caught it and I was like, lady, this is the beginning of a chapter. How did you miss this? And from that point on, I was just really focused on finding all of her errors, all of her like mistakes, and there were quite a few of them. And don't get me wrong, I know I did not pay a lot of money for this. Heck, I received it as a gift. But just know going into it, it has typos, and it needed one more edit. It needed one more pass through at least. Another thing that it didn't do well is it relied a little too heavily on John Truby's book, Anatomy of Story. She references it like 3 or 4 times in the book, and that's a lot when your book is 156 pages. I have never read John Truby's Anatomy of Story. I have a feeling I need to now so that I can get the context for this book, but I feel like reading that book would make reading this obsolete. In other words, I feel like she was relying on someone having read John Truby or being familiar with John Truby going into this book, and that's a problem. Another thing I didn't like is it felt really conversational. The only thing I can compare the conversational feel to is like Wattpad. Like, it had some moments where she would do like parentheses and do a paragraph like at the end of a chapter, kind of like on Wattpad as an author's note at the end of the chapter. And then she would like add in bits of her opinion and dialogue in parentheses. And I'm like, babe, this is your book. You need to integrate this in without putting parentheses. This is a published book. This is not a Wattpad book. This does not need to have weird parenthetical sub-conversations. Like, no. I mean, I'm just like, you could have added those bits in organically instead of just throwing parentheses around it and just going, good enough. I think a lot of the parentheses were added in with like the re-release of the book in 2019, and she was just too overwhelmed, too busy, whatever you want to call it, to actually go in and integrate these additions in organically. So instead, she just like did parentheses, and it really did not sit well with me. I did not like it. It was like she was trying to get me to laugh, and I'm like, I'm trying to learn how to outline. Can we focus on the outline? And another thing she did not do well is her description of pacing. So she described a triangle being on its point. And so I was thinking like a funnel. No, the way that like the events actually happened and proceeded to be described were like a play button, like the YouTube play button, you know? It's like a triangle like this, not like this. And I really wish she had added some diagrams. It's not hard. They don't have to be fancy. This book is not like too long that I would go, oh my God, another diagram. I wish she had a diagram. I wish she had multiple diagrams in this. It would be so helpful. And another thing she did not do well, I promise I enjoyed this book, and I'm not going for her throat, but she introduced like an outlining tactic here at the very end. It's like my very last tab, my red tab. She introduced an outlining aid, and it's like she doesn't explain it. She doesn't go into detail. This is the chapter leading into it. And then there's like 2 lines, and then it does this element, and then nothing else about it. And in my vlog, you'll see it in my vlog. I got frustrated in my vlog because I tried to do this. I tried to implement it in my vlog. I tried to do right by her. I tried to do exactly what she said. I couldn't do this. I couldn't integrate the key things with my beats. I couldn't do it because she didn't explain it. She didn't explain what this was for. It's like she was near the end of her outlining process. She ran out of time, and she just threw it on the page because she knew she was going to do it anyway. And I wish she had explained on it more. Oh, this was not supposed to be a rant video. So yeah, it has quite a few things wrong with it. Thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if y'all have heard of this, if y'all have like read it, if you've used it. Thank y'all so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. It means so much to me. And as always, let's get writing. Bye! Also, yeah, don't forget, I did a reading vlog and a doing vlog about this, and that may be like interesting for you. So have at it.